Tonight on CTV News at 6. It's been 7 long months. Finally, home is on the horizon.
That's the news that we've been waiting for so long.
Evacuated residents from Kashechewan First Nation are preparing for their return. And a joint effort to put safety first.
Really trying to improve the state of our downtown, but also, improving the outcomes for those individuals that are experiencing challenges.
Police in Sudbury offer stats and progress on cleaning up the core. Plus, a lesson in science, technology, engineering, and math.
I actually love it. Nice experience to meet new people, learn new things.
Indigenous students from across the north make a special trip to Sudbury.
CTV News at 6 with Marina Moore and Tony Rima with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin with a light at the end of a 7-month-long tunnel. Families are heading home to Kashechewan First Nation starting Friday. CTV's Eric Tashner spoke with the First Nation's executive director and has this update.
There's a sense of relief for the about 1,700 evacuated residents of Kashechewan First Nation who have the green light to head back home in the coming days.
Community is kind of excited and also kind of emotional at the same time.
The latest water test results have come back free of cryptosporidium and other harmful contaminants.
That's the news that we've been waiting for so long.
Most of the community's 2,300 residents have been living out of hotels across Ontario, including in Niagara Falls, Kingston, Timmins, Cochrane, and Kapuskasing. Evacuees will start returning home as early as Friday, but the bulk of the process is expected to start August 4th and last about 10 days, 7 months after declaring a state of emergency due to unsafe drinking water.
We're assuming that there's going to be 4 flights available each day to send people home.
Official test results confirmed between 60 and 90 people were sick with the microscopic parasite since the start of the water crisis, but that figure could be much higher. The First Nation says the water treatment system needed major repairs and upgrades throughout the summer. However, the pumps for the UV system were damaged during the repairs. Those are expected to be fixed over the weekend. The entire evacuation cost, Wesley estimates, is pegged between $100 and $150 million.
We didn't understand the extent of the situation that we were in and just the work that was needed to repair everything.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
Indigenous Services Canada says they cannot confirm the cost of the 7-month-long evacuation, saying in part, invoices for incurred evacuation costs have not yet been submitted and are typically reconciled following the conclusion of the evacuation event. ISC says it's working closely with the First Nation as they begin returning home. A Sault Ste. Marie man is sounding the alarm after his 94-year-old father spent days in a hospital hallway. CTV's Corey Nordstrom tells us more.
94-year-old Walter Tchaikovsky was admitted to the Sault Area Hospital last Monday morning and spent more than 3 days waiting for a room in a hallway. His son, Mike, is up in arms over the experience.
I know it broke him because, he did come out and says, just let me die, and you don't want to hear your father say that.
Released at the beginning of the week, the cancer patient who was suffering a urinary tract infection said the experience felt like it lasted for weeks.
I said, well, if that's the only place we have for a person right now, it's filled up maybe or something else, maybe tomorrow they'll move with me somewhere else. That day comes, never comes.
Hospital officials say the hallway is not where they want to be placing patients, but notes that there are 2 wards occupied by patients that would be better suited for a long-term care home, and there's a strain across the system.
We've had high occupancy that's been sustained throughout the last flu season and into the prolonged spring and extended respiratory season.
So far this year, 10% of patients at the Sault Area Hospital are waiting more than 49 hours for a bed. Hospital officials say their goal is to reduce that figure to 35 hours. They also add that there is no cap on the amount of time a patient can wait in an emergency department hallway.
We look at the acuity, the patient care needs, and any other environmental needs like isolation precautions. If all being equal, for sure, we look at things like mobility, frailty, that sort of thing, and get patients up to a bed in that way.
I really think that, with our elderly, especially, we should be taking care of them better. They should never be in a hallway that long. Now, he wasn't the only person in the hallway either.
Tchaikovsky doesn't blame the Sioux Area Hospital directly, but believes this is proof that the entire system is failing people who need health care. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Anishinaabe police are looking for the public's help in identifying a man who reportedly attempted to lure a child into a vehicle at a Garden River First Nation campground. The incident happened on Tuesday night at Bells Point Beach Campground. According to police, a vehicle was spotted driving past an area a number of times before stopping near a girl on a bicycle. The man reportedly tried to lure her when a witness intervened and he drove off. He's being described as male, approximately 30, wearing a black turban and driving a late model white sedan, possibly a Saturn. Provincial police have arrested one person after a series of suspicious bushfires near Iron Bridge last night. Police say 10 small fires were deliberately set on both sides of Melwell Road. Fire crews spotted a man along the road and police investigated. The 27-year-old from Sutton, Quebec, was found on a nearby trail and was arrested on charges of arson. Lawyers representing Sault Ste. Marie MPP Chris Scott will have 3 more months for consultation. Scott was charged with 2 counts of assault in September of last year. At a hearing this morning, Scott's lawyers asked for the extension to allow for ongoing discussions that could resolve the case without a trial. The judge granted the request. The case will return to court on October 28th. 3 men have been arrested in connection to the incident that caused a shelter-in-place order in Kashechewan First Nation yesterday. UCCM Anishinaabe police posting on social media saying they were called to the Balsam Street area for a weapons complaint. 2 men from the Toronto area face multiple charges related to drug trafficking, harassment, and weapons. A 3rd man from Ottawa was also arrested and charged with failing to comply with a release order. Time now for our first check on weather, and it's blue skies pretty much right across the region tonight. Let's bring in CTV's Tony Rima, who's everyone's favorite person out there today for sure, Tony.
Yes, Marina, especially when the sun is shining, beautiful temperatures. You know, you can go out with a t-shirt, shorts. On our forecast radar map, clear skies right across the broadcast region, and it's going to stay that way into tonight. Tomorrow, however, Timmins, you'll start to see increased cloud cover, and then after that, there is a chance of showers Friday going into Saturday, but the temperatures are going to be very comfortable out there. More weather details a little later in the show. Marina.
All right, thank you, Tony. The pool at the Archie Dillon Sportsplex in Timmins will be closed for annual maintenance starting August 1st. The shutdown will last until September 8th. The month-long closure allows crews to complete required maintenance on the equipment and the facility. This year, the city says contractors will be adding a rock wall to the Sportsplex while the pool is closed. Time now for a short break here on CTV News at 6. For now, we should take a live look at conditions in Sudbury. We've been talking about those blue skies. Take a look. It's been the kind of day we wish for all summer, especially on the weekends. So, is the long weekend looking just as nice? Stay with us to find out.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Safety in the downtown core has been in question this week. In Sudbury, there's a combined effort by a number of partners to not only improve safety downtown, but also the perception about that part of the city. CTV's Angela Gemmel reports.
It's often a community's downtown that makes a first impression on visitors. So for Sudbury, the core needs to be welcoming and safe, not just for visitors, but also residents and businesses.
It is still very much a vibrant part of our town, and we recognize that, yes, there are very visible social issues, but the police remains committed to doing our part to try and keep our downtown safe.
Recent safety concerns expressed by management at Elm Place Mall have led a number of community partners to express their commitment to a coordinated strategy to improve safety and well-being. A statement from the downtown Sudbury BIA says, in part, particularly it is important that downtown is not only safe but feels safe for residents, employees and businesses. Greater Sudbury Police Service says since January, officers have conducted close to 2,000 focused bike and foot patrols in the downtown core. They say that's a 106% increase.
We try and stay responsive day to day and week to week where, the community lets us know where issues are arising, and then, we try and deter any social disorder, crime, or drug activity.
In their year-to-date stats, Sudbury Police report overall calls for service downtown decreased 4% compared to the same time frame in 2025. Social disorder calls dropped 20%, while calls about open drug use decreased 39%. There was also a drop in calls about homelessness and violent crime. Property crime still remains a concern, as police report a 44% increase in these calls for service, particularly shoplifting incidents. The BIA says the rise in retail crime extends beyond the downtown, with businesses across the region facing similar problems. Police acknowledge not everyone sees improvements reflected in the data, but community partners are working together.
Really trying to improve the state of our downtown, but also, improving the outcomes for those individuals that are experiencing challenges.
Greater Sudbury Police say they remain committed to maintaining a visible presence in the downtown core and reassure residents and visitors alike that it's a safe place to be. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Cadillac Mines will soon be ramping up its geotechnical and environmental work across McGarry Township, that's east of Kirkland Lake. According to officials, it follows the diamond drilling program earlier this year. They say some sites are close to homes, but that they remain committed to addressing concerns directly. Residents can expect to see excavators, drill rigs, support vehicles, open test pits, and ground monitoring wells from now through September. Indigenous youth from across Northern Ontario and one student all the way from Saskatchewan are in Sudbury this week for a camp focused on science, technology, engineering, and math. CTV's Amanda Hicks caught up with the group today.
Students gather around an electric vehicle at Laurentian University in Sudbury. For some, it's their first time ever seeing one in person.
It's really cool. It's very revolutionary because it's the future. And so that's really good because climate change is happening and global warming.
It's all part of the Outland Youth Employment Program, or OYEP. The 6-week paid internship began in Timmins and includes 3 days of STEM-focused learning in Sudbury. High school students ages 16 to 18 get a crash course in everything from mining and the environment to skilled trades.
The mining industry right now is in need of new talent to join in different roles. It's not just engineering, geology, but there's a lot of roles in environment and business, health and safety, social license, labor studies, trades, obviously. And so the goal is to expose as many youth as possible to these different career possibilities so that we help fill that talent gap in the industry.
This program is something that I wish was available to me when I was younger. The amount of opportunities they can access from it, they get 10 certifications, sometimes even more. They can get 2 high school co-op credits. And yeah, meeting partners here, just a huge step in the door for them.
In total, there are 21 students here from 9 different Indigenous communities, including Temiskaming, Moose Cree, and Nipissing First Nations.
I actually love it. Nice experience to meet new people, learn new things.
For Tyler Wesley, the program is also a welcome reprieve. Wesley hasn't returned to his home in Kashechewan First Nation since an evacuation order was issued back in January.
It's great. I've learned about Sudbury's history and learned about mining. Also learned about some other money stuff and other cool stuff.
Before wrapping up their time in Sudbury on Friday, the students will take tours of mining company Epiroc Thursday to get a first-hand look at mining technology. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
An expanded online passport renewal service is now available to all eligible Canadians. Applicants must have an address in Canada and be older than 16 when they got their last passport. They must also have received it within the last 15 years. Anyone applying will still need to get a passport photo taken and submit a digital copy. The most recent version of the online renewal service had a daily cap of 2,000 applications. Ottawa says people should receive their new passports within 20 days and be able to track its progress in real time. WestJet flight attendants could be on the picket line as soon as Sunday. The clock is ticking toward a strike deadline that could see 4,400 WestJet flight attendants walk off the job. A key sticking point is compensation for work done on the ground, the same issue that sparked a work stoppage at Air Canada last summer. WestJet says passengers with flights scheduled between July 30th and August 4th can make a one-time change or cancel with no fee. Back we go to Tony now for a check on the current conditions this Wednesday evening. Tony, no complaints, I don't think, out there tonight.
Marina, no complaints. Let's take a look at your current temperatures, and they are just beautiful, depending upon where you live. Let's start with Timmins. A mix of sun and cloud, 25 degrees, same temperature and conditions. In through Cochrane, Moosonee, a little cooler, mostly sunny though, 19. Cap is 24 degrees as we head to Chapleau, 23, mostly sunny. For Wawa, well, a mix of sun and cloud, 18, 24 in through Sault Ste. Marie. Let's go to Parry Sound, shall we? Beautiful sunshine, 25 degrees there. We're going to head north now to North Bay, 22 degrees, mostly sunny. Timiskaming Shores, also a beautiful evening there, 23, the same temperature in through Kirkland Lake. By the way, it should be 24, 25 degrees as a daytime high as a norm, and we are spot on in through Greater Sudbury, Espanola, and a little warmer in through Elliott Lake and Gore Bay. Your 7-day weather forecast is still ahead. Marina.
Thanks, Tony. Next on CTV News at 6. Should Canada use the energy sector as a bargaining chip in trade negotiations with the U.S.? And a scam alert from a utility company in Sudbury. Details coming up. While the newly opened Gordie Howe Bridge had a stellar start, a House of Commons committee is holding a special meeting today as the federal government faces more questions about its revenue sharing deal with the United States. The proposed agreement in principle to open the bridge says Canada will share half of net toll revenues with the U.S. for the next 15 years. Prime Minister Mark Carney had said previously that tolls would not be split until after Canada's debt to build the bridge is paid back. Today's meeting is expected to be mostly administrative, with MPs set to talk about the scope of the study and a list of witnesses. As for the bridge, 7,500 vehicles crossed the span in just the first 12 hours after opening Monday. U.S. President Donald Trump has again said he does not care about CUSMA and would rather be independent. That has one premier suggesting using her province's energy as a bargaining chip. CTV's Abigail Beeman explains the idea.
New Brunswick supplies nearly half of Maine's electricity. The premier says she may use her province's power in negotiations if it would stave off new tariffs.
Have to be very strategic about how we use the leverage that we have. But I think one of my colleagues around the table used the quote, you need to walk softly and carry a big stick.
Ontario tried that last year and backed down within 24 hours.
We had a problem with Ontario and they dropped that.
The idea raised too by federal Conservatives at an emergency meeting to discuss another thorny topic, the Gordie Howe Bridge.
Canada has leverage. We have energy. We have critical minerals. We have steel, aluminum, autos, manufacturing. American factories depend on Canadian supply chains. American workers depend on this relationship too. So let's use it.
The Prime Minister said Canada has lots of options and the focus is working towards a deal.
So when you're supplier of a key commodity, key service, you got to think really hard about not supplying. I don't see the value of doing. I mean, I can understand conceptually, but I don't see the value of it.
Mark Carney also asked what Canada is getting in return for concessions, including the Gordie Howe Bridge. And in this court filing, news the government is going to drop the base contribution requirement for American streaming services to pay for Canadian content. The government will pay up instead. Carney said it's about affordability.
Most Canadians have one or two or so of these streamers, and it's real money. This stuff adds up, and there's a better way to do it. We took the judgment there was a better way to do it.
This is nothing short of changing political direction based on the broader context of the trade war.
On the question of concessions, the Prime Minister focused on the fact the Gordie Howe Bridge is now open. He said Canada is in a strong position and working on a more stable relationship with the United States, but he didn't directly answer the question. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
To the latest on the conflict in the Middle East. Today, the United States and Saudi Arabia fired on Iranian-backed militias in Iraq. Iraq has condemned the strikes, calling the attacks a violation of sovereignty. At least 20 militia fighters were killed in the strikes that were in response to drone attacks on Saudi oil targets launched from Iraq. This was the first major U.S. military action in the Middle East since Friday. Iran says it fired missiles at U.S. bases in Jordan, with Jordan saying the country intercepted 5 of them. Oil prices rose this morning on concerns the conflict could escalate further and disrupt energy shipments through the Strait of Hormuz. This all comes after the U.S. president sat down in the Oval Office with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for the first time since the two countries launched the war against Iran earlier this year. Soldiers and emergency crews in southwestern Japan are searching through the rubble of a mall after yesterday's powerful earthquake that killed at least 18 people. The mall operator says 3 people were killed and 3 others are missing after the collapse. Police body camera footage shows the devastation inside. Officials are investigating a possible gas explosion triggered by the earthquake as the cause of the collapse. 5 people were also killed when a chimney fell at a paper mill. Several people are unaccounted for at the factory. The quake was so strong it knocked over train cars. Survivors are being warned about aftershocks that could last about a week. Power outages are affecting homes and hospitals, raising the risk for heat-related illnesses. The federal government says it plans to spend nearly $2 billion to replace Via Rail's aging locomotives and build a plant in Montreal. Transport Minister Stephen McKinnon making the announcement in Montreal, where a new assembly plant and maintenance facility will be constructed. Ottawa says the trains will be built by Switzerland-based Stadler. The first 9 will be built in Spain and the remaining 36 built in Canada.
This announcement is about far more than new trains. It's about building our country, supporting our workers, supporting passengers, creating good jobs, and developing expertise right here in Canada.
The trains will replace Via Rail's fleet across the country, except for the Windsor-Quebec City corridor, where the federal government is planning a new high-speed rail line. And there's more news ahead, but first we'll get to your full weather forecast with Tony Rima and how things are shaping up as we inch closer to the long weekend.
Thanks for that, Marina. Well, things look pretty good this evening into Thursday. Friday, well, that's a different matter. On our forecast radar, clear skies for the most part this evening. Heading into Thursday, Friday, we're starting to see unsettled conditions. We have some rain also on the way in through Gore Bay, Sault Ste. Marie, Sudbury, North Bay, Timiskaming Shores, also Timmins. So unsettled, needless to say. On our systems map, we have low pressure that is kind of going to be building into our broadcast region, and we also have this trough and high pressure. So we're getting kind of sandwiched, and we have a bunch of other systems that are also also going across our region, creating unsettled conditions. So let's take a look now at our overnight temperatures. In through Sudbury, clear skies, 12 degrees. Sault Ste. Marie, 13. Timmins, not double digits, 8. In through Temiskaming Shores, 11. North Bay, 12. Clear skies. Moosonee, this is what you can expect, 9 degrees. It's going to be clear. Cappenhurst, clear skies on the way. For Wawa, just a few clouds. In through Gore Bay, partly cloudy, 13. And Parry Sound, the skies are going to clear, coming in at 15 degrees. All right, let's take a look at your 7-day weather forecast, starting with Sudbury Nickel Belt. Tomorrow, beautiful sunshine in store, above seasonal temperatures. Still nice temperature-wise on Friday. However, cloud showers, that carries over into Saturday. On Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud. And next week, holiday Monday, well, looks nice. In fact, Wednesday, 28 degrees. For the Sioux, along with Algoma, sunshine and 28. Add the humidity, it'll feel more like 30, 32 degrees Celsius on Friday. Clouds, showers, more rain on the way Saturday. We start to get that clearing Sunday, carrying over into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, back to the clouds and a chance of rain. Spot on, though, temperature-wise. For Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, tomorrow, well, sun, cloud, and there is rain on the way, 28 degrees, and then still unsettled for a couple days. On Sunday, Monday, we get that clearing. Tuesday, back to the clouds and showers. Wednesday, 26 when it should be 25 this time of year. For Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, sunshine tomorrow, then increasing cloud cover on Friday. It's going to be a soggy Saturday. Sunday, we start to get that clearing. Monday, Tuesday looks beautiful. On Wednesday, well, risk of thunderstorms, 27 when it should be 25 this time of year. Finally, here's your 7-day weather forecast for North Bay, West Nipissing. Clearing skies, 26 degrees. Same temperature on Friday, but increased cloud cover and a chance of rain. More rain on the way on Saturday. Sunday, still overcast. Monday, holiday Monday, we start to get that clearing. Beautiful Tuesday in store. And on Wednesday, we have mostly overcast conditions, coming in at 28 degrees when it should be 25. And our picture of the day is a good one. This one was from Miranda at Anderson Lake in Espanola, and she says, well, sunset cruise as the days get shorter. Thanks very much, Marina. Really appreciate it. Look at the pup enjoying the sunset. Thanks so much for your picture. And cool cars are pulling into Coppercliff this weekend. Madison Merrier talks with Sean O'Brien of the Sudbury Classic Cruisers coming up later in the show.
Time now for our CAA tip of the month, and tonight it's all about mortgage protection. Here's Coop with Pure Country Radio.
Buying a home will be the biggest investment most Canadians will make in their lifetime, and the majority of home buying will involve a mortgage. That will also mean mortgage insurance. But there is another way to protect your investment called better mortgage protection, and that is my CAA tip of the month. Every homeowner wants to protect their investment, so they consider mortgage insurance. But before you sign the insurance agreement being offered by the bank or mortgage lender, you should consider some things. Is the insurance right for you? Can you pick your beneficiaries? Will they receive the full amount to pay off the balance and also cover debts? Can you decide how long your coverage lasts? CAA Protect offers something called Better Mortgage Protection. It is a life insurance which allows you to choose your beneficiary. The insurance is not tied to the mortgage, it is tied to you. Whether you pay off your existing mortgage or move to another home, your coverage goes with you. Traditional mortgage insurance premiums may increase as you age. Better mortgage protection premiums will always remain the same for the policy term. And Better Mortgage covers you for the initial amount on approval, meaning if you have a policy for $500,000, that's the amount underwritten no matter how much is left on the mortgage should anything happen to you. What's more, you get to decide how long your coverage lasts. Once the term expires, it can either renew automatically or you can choose to convert to permanent life insurance with no additional medical tests. And you have the flexibility to add term life, disability, and critical illness coverage to take care of the unexpected in life. And it is very affordable, saving you up to $78 monthly compared with traditional mortgage insurance options. Find more information at caaprotect.com. To speak with an advisor, call 1-800-709-5809. There's no place like home. Shouldn't you ensure that it is protected? And that is my CAA tip of the month.
Securing your data and critical infrastructure from online attacks is becoming much more costly in Canada. CTV's Scott Hurst breaks down the growing impact of data breaches and the fallout.
As technology continues to have a bigger impact in our daily lives and nearly everything these days seems to be interconnected, it can come at a cost. The average cost of a data breach in Canada has reached a record $7.11 million. The attacks are becoming larger and longer lasting, and the energy sector reported the highest average cost per breach. According to new numbers from tech giant IBM, the average breach is exposing roughly 28,500 records. That's up 8% from last year, and it took more than 200 days on average to detect and contain the impact. With so many services now interconnected, the fallout can be far and wide, all the way down to disruptions felt by us, the consumer. Energy organizations reported the highest average costs at more than $9.2 million per incident. It highlights the growing financial impact these cyber attacks can have on critical infrastructure. AI also playing a major role. It is both helping and hurting. Organizations that deployed AI in their security operations reported the cost of an average breach to be much lower and contain the impacts significantly faster. However, globally, there's been a more than 50% increase in AI-driven attacks, showing just how quickly attackers are adopting the latest technologies. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Greater Sudbury Utilities says scam emails are circulating, claiming customers are behind on their payments. According to the utility company, scammers are sending emails claiming you have an outstanding balance and demanding you pay the balance through an e-transfer or risk having your utilities cut off. GSU says they do not email customers for overdue balances and they do not accept e-transfers. They're also warning of scammers offering energy audits at your home, looking to charge for their advice. GSU says they don't send employees door to door to offer audits or savings. A recent survey suggests that almost 90% of Canadians are extremely unaware of hepatitis B, with less than a third knowing it's a major cancer risk. Details from CTV's Pauline Chan.
Victor Chen was born in Taipei and was diagnosed with hepatitis B at birth.
My entire maternal family has Hep B, and so this is a part of our family's health history.
And early detection has been good for his health.
So I actually am able to live pretty much perfectly normally. I monitor my Hep B the state of my Hep B on an annual basis. So I go in for a checkup. What I do is I get an ultrasound of my liver.
But Dr. Jordan Felt says hepatitis awareness is actually extremely low in Canada.
This is an infection that infects somewhere in the order of 240 million people around the world. So that's roughly 10 times as many people as have HIV. And it actually causes more deaths every year than HIV. And this infects about 260,000 Canadians.
Many don't even know they have it until severe liver damage, even liver cancer, has developed.
The best thing about liver disease is it has no symptoms. And the worst thing about liver disease is it has no symptoms. So people can be living with chronic hepatitis B infection literally for their entire lives without recognizing this.
While Hep B can be transmitted sexually or through close contact, like with a family member, by far the most common method of transmission is from infected mothers who infect their babies during birth.
That's why the WHO and most countries around the world recommend infant or even birth dose vaccination, so getting the vaccine within the first day of life. And Canada has a bit of a haphazard approach to this.
Although hepatitis is more common in immigrants from areas where Hep B is endemic, he says Canada is a very diverse and multicultural country. He's calling for Canada-wide Hep B vaccinations for all babies and wider screening for adults. Victor Chen says knowing what you're dealing with is key to living a healthy and fulfilling life. Canada has committed to the World Health Organization's goal of eliminating viral hepatitis as a public health threat by the year 2030. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Now to an alert to those using Kamuskosha Lake this week, just west of Timmins. Northeastern Public Health Unit says it's been notified by the Ministry of Environment that the lake has a possible blue-green algae bloom. Health officials say blue-green algae can cause skin rashes, eye irritation, and blisters from touching the water. The ministry's website advises people not to swim or play in it, don't drink or boil the water, and keep pets away from the shoreline. Still ahead here on CTV News at 6. Sudbury Classic Cruisers are back. We get a sneak peek of what to expect at the car show this weekend on the other side of the break. Sudbury Classic Cruisers' 33rd annual car show is coming back to Coppercliff. The group is kicking things off on Saturday with its 3rd annual poker run, followed by the Classic Car Show on the 2nd. CTV's Madison Merrier joined organizers just outside of our station, who gave her a sneak peek of what to expect at the car show this weekend.
I'm here with Sean O'Brien with the Sudbury Classic Cruisers, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about what's happening here on the 1st and 2nd of August.
Yes, the 1st is the poker run. The 2nd is our big car event where we're going to have bounce houses for kids. We got 47 vendors. We got 5 food trucks. We got bus painting for kids. It's open to everything. And then we also have the Hot Wheels track for kids. They can win some prizes, valve cover races. So yeah, it's more family oriented than just cars again.
That sounds great. And so there are so many cars that are coming here. How many people do you have estimated to come? I mean, you guys have been in the community for over 33 years, or for 33 years now, sorry.
Last year we had close to 400 cars, so we're hoping to top that or even get more this year. So it all depends how the weather plays, and yeah, we're hoping to have a really good turnout again this year.
Perfect. And so you guys brought some cars with you here today. How many cars are you expecting to be at the show right now? Are we going to see any Fast and Furious style cars, or cars maybe older than me?
See a lot of cars older than you and me, and this Jeff standing beside me. So yeah, it'll be all different makes, models, whatever you think of, they will be there.
Beyond the love of cars, you guys also have a strong love of community, and every year you're working with a local partner, a charity, to donate some of your earnings to. So can you talk to me about who was chosen this year?
This year it was Angela with Independent Living, because they help in the community. They help people, find jobs, and it's great that it stays in the community. So yeah, so we're glad we partnered up with them again this year.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for being here and showing us all of these amazing cars. I cannot wait until the 1st and 2nd of August just to see them in person with so many more community members.
Can't wait to see you there, and thank you.
All right, thank you for that, Madison. That was CTV's Madison Merrier reporting from Sudbury. And save your appetite this weekend, because Poutinefest is also back. The annual festival will be held July 31st to August 2nd at the Grace Hartman Amphitheater at Bell Park. In Sudbury, admission is free, but organizers say there will be a donations tent on site to help local charities. Visit sudburypoutinefest.ca for a list of food vendors and also the bands that will be taking the stage, which include tributes to Alice Cooper, Stevie Nicks, and Blue Rodeo, plus many other local acts. It was Pay What You Can for fresh produce today at the Flour Mill Community Garden in Sudbury. It was the community farm's first Pay What You Can market of the season. They operate the farm on half an acre of land with goals of supporting food security in the community. The farm has been growing for the last 10 seasons thanks to the hard work of youth in the area.
The market is run by youth that are in the community, so we try to hire youth that live in this community and give them opportunity to have their first jobs and learn how to grow vegetables and share that knowledge with them. And then they get to have the pleasure of seeing all their hard work come to fruit, and then they really love giving back to the community as well.
I feel like the best part of my job is that I get to do new things. Sometimes they're doing the same thing, but I get to do other things and meet new people. There's people that come over every Wednesday to help Junction Creek, and it's really nice with everyone in the community.
The Pay What You Can markets run until they run out of vegetables. You can find them at Ryan Heights Playground every Wednesday in August from 2 to 6 p.m. and 4 to 6 p.m. in the fall. Northern College in Timmins received a major investment today from Discovery Mining. The company is providing $2 million for the development of an environmental technician program to support the growing need for workers in the mining sector. An additional $3 million is being invested in the college's sports dome. That funding adds to other investments to build the sports dome at the school. There was a groundbreaking back in April. With their contribution, Discovery Mining will also see its name on the building. It'll be called the Discovery Fieldhouse. Former NHLer and Sudbury native Ron Duguay is in hospital. Dugay's family announced in February the hockey legend is battling stage 4 colon cancer. In a recent social media post, his daughter Shay Thomas provided an update on her father's condition, saying he fainted on July 24th and was taken to hospital. She says on top of the cancer in his liver and treatments to battle the disease, Duguay is now suffering a bleeding ulcer in his stomach. Duguay played for the Sudbury Wolves before being drafted to the NHL. Macklin Celebrini has just become the highest paid player in the NHL after signing a 5-year, $94 million U.S. contract extension with the San Jose Sharks. The 20-year-old from North Vancouver's contract works out to $18.8 million U.S. or over 26 million Canadian per season. Over the next 5 years, Celebrini scored 45 goals last season as the Sharks posted one of their biggest single-season improvements in the franchise's history. The first overall pick in the 2024 NHL Draft, Celebrini also represented Canada at the Milan Cortina Olympics and World Championships, earning the International Ice Hockey Federation's Male Player of the Year honors last season. As BTS fans count down to their 2 shows at Rogers Stadium next month in Toronto, the K-pop superstars say they won't be submitting their music for consideration at next year's Grammy Awards. The band released its first post-hiatus album back in March. Then, a few weeks ago, Grammy organizers announced plans for a new Asian pop music performance category. Critics noted that might mean forcing BTS and others to choose between vying for that award or a mainstream category. The members said on Instagram they hope music can be heard and loved for what it is rather than being divided by region or language. Emmy Award-winning series Ted Lasso is about to kick off a new season. David Daniel tells us more in tonight's Hollywood Report.
Oi, welcome back. It's good to see you. You too.
The first trailer is out for the new season of Ted Lasso. Jason Sudeikis' title character returns to Richmond, this time to coach a 2nd Division women's team. Plenty of new faces join the returning cast members when season 4 of Ted Lasso debuts August 5th.
But football is life?
No, life is so much more than football.
Not as catchy, but true.
This is the kind of movie I love. This is the kind of movie that made me want to be in the business.
Olivia Wilde has her stars for the next movie she'll direct, the comedy Naughty. Jennifer Aniston will play a mother trying to win custody of her son from her slimy soon-to-be ex by convincing Santa Claus to testify at her divorce hearing. Emmy winner Peter Dinklage suits up to play Kris Kringle. Naughty is due in theaters November 7th, 2027. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Big tech companies have started reporting their earnings. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more.
Microsoft shared its numbers after the end of the trading day. A key metric for Microsoft is the amount of money it makes from its cloud service called Azure. It came in above $100 billion for the first time. That's 43% better year over year. Another key number, how many people are using Copilot, Microsoft's AI agent? The company says it reached over 30 million paid seats. That's 10 million more than its last quarter. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar's down to 71.15 US. West Texas Intermediate is up over $5 to 84.69 US a barrel. Western Canadian Select down another $3 to 62.14. And the TSX lost 415 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
And here's a look at the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold is back up $37.40, closing the day at $40.65.93 US an ounce. Silver up 49 cents. Copper dipped 6 cents, and nickel stays steady, ending at $7.65 US a pound. Back we go to Tony now for one last look at the weather for Thursday.
Thanks for that, Marina. Lots of sunshine for Thursday. Let's take a look at your forecast, starting with Sudbury. 27 degrees, plenty of sunshine. Timmins is the anomaly, the outlier. 28 degrees and a 30% chance of rain in through Sault Ste. Marie. Beautiful day shaping up. 28 degrees as we shuffle off to North Bay. 26 degrees, lots of sunshine there. Perry Sound, clear skies coming in at 26 degrees. And Temiskaming Shores, sunshine and 27. By the way, it should be 24, 25 as a daytime high. So we're above that. Marina.
Almost a repeat of today. Thanks for that, Tony. Well, finally for us tonight, a bucket of goods from an iconic fast food chain founder are up for auction.
And of course, one of the most interesting items and most popular in the pre-bidding online right now is one of the Colonel's string ties, or as people sometimes refer to them as a bolo tie. And the interesting thing about this is that not a lot of people know he did wear clip-ons.
All right, KFC founder Colonel Sanders' signature bow tie, as you saw there, a pressure cooker, and an original cash register are available among dozens of items. He sold the company to investors in 1964, but stayed around as a brand ambassador. In fact, the entire look was apparently created just for the brand. A little piece of history there for all of those Colonel lovers. That's all the time we have here on CTV News at 6. Thanks for watching.